Natural hazards and disasters. In this module, you'll learn about a few natural hazards and some famous disasters that they caused. A natural hazard is a natural event that is capable of causing harm to the environment and people. Earthquakes, landslides, floods, droughts, and epidemics are examples of natural hazards. When a natural hazard negatively affects the environment and causes deaths, injury, or financial loss, it becomes a natural disaster. So while an earthquake is a natural hazard, the 2001 Gujarat earthquake that killed over 20,000 people, injured more than 1,66,000 people, and damaged approximately 4 lakh homes, is a natural disaster. Earthquake. An earthquake is the rapid shaking of the Earth's surface caused by movements along the edges of the plates that make up the Earth's crust and upper mantle. The point in the crust where the movements start is called the focus. The point directly above the focus on the surface is called the epicenter. Away from the epicenter, the strength of an earthquake reduces. Earthquakes, rarely on their own, result in disasters. It is the events, such as building collapses, fires, and tsunamis they trigger that are responsible for disasters. The 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake, measuring 9.3 in the Richter scale, triggered huge tsunamis that killed at least 2,29,000 people. Landslide. A landslide, also known as landslip and slump, is the movement of rock, earth or debris down a slope driven by the force of gravity. The movement of landslide material can vary from sudden collapses to slow gradual slides, and at rates ranging from undetectable to extremely rapid. The distance traveled by landslide material also varies significantly. It can range from a few centimeters to many kilometers, depending on the volume of material, water content, and gradient of the slope. In 1985, Mame's landslide in Puerto Rico was one of the worst landslide disasters that killed at least 129 people and destroyed more than 100 houses. Flood. A flood is a usually disastrous overflow of water from a water body onto land that is normally dry. Rainfall is probably the most common reason for flood. A heavy downpour may raise the water level of a water body than that of its banks, causing the water to flow out and eventually result in flooding. Floods can damage structures such as buildings, bridges, roadways, and sewer systems. People and livestock may die due to drowning. Contamination of water may lead to outbreak of waterborne diseases. The 2005 Maharashtra floods killed at least 1,000 people. The floods resulted from the 8th heaviest ever recorded 24-hour rainfall on the 26th of July 2005 in Maharashtra. Drought. A drought is a period of abnormally dry weather that persists long enough to cause a shortage in water supply in a particular area. A drought usually occurs due to lack of or inadequate rainfall over an extended period of time. The severity of a drought depends upon the degree of water deficiency, the time period, and the size of the affected area. Direct effects of a drought include reduced crop productivity, reduced water levels, increased fire hazard, increased livestock and wildlife death rates, and damage to wildlife and fish habitat. Reduced crop productivity results in less income for farmers, increased food prices, and unemployment. In one of the greatest disasters due to drought, about 5 million people died from starvation in 1921-22 in the Soviet Union. An epidemic is a disease that affects a large number of individuals within a population, community, region at the same time. Epidemics usually occur suddenly without warning, infect a large number of people, and disappear after a few weeks or months. Influenza, plague, cholera, and smallpox are a few of the epidemics that the world has witnessed from the earliest times till now. In 1918, flu epidemic, also called the Spanish flu pandemic, killed an estimated 50 million people the world over. Disasters can strike at any time. However, through disaster management, their severity can be greatly reduced. Disaster management includes three things: readiness for a disaster before it occurs, response during a disaster, and restoring the affected area to its previous state after the disaster has occurred. International organizations such as the Red Cross, the United Nations, and the World Bank play a major role in operations related to disaster management. These operations include saving lives and protecting property during disasters, preventing disaster impacts, as well as post-disaster reconstruction. In this module you have learned, a natural hazard is a natural event that is capable of causing harm to the environment and people. Earthquakes, landslides, floods, droughts, and epidemics are some natural hazards. When a natural hazard negatively affects the environment and causes deaths, injury, or financial loss, it becomes a natural disaster. The severity of a natural disaster can be greatly reduced through disaster management. International organizations such as Red Cross Society, the United Nations, and the World Bank play a major role in operations related to disaster management.